Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is going to be an impromptu writing vlog, actually an editing vlog to be technical. By the time you're seeing this, the first round of beta readers for my manuscript, Project Dagger, will be underway. Project Dagger is my historical murder mystery set in the 1930s. It is greatly inspired by Agatha Christie and her contemporaries from the so-called golden age of mysteries. In this vlog, I'm going to show you the things that I do to prepare for beta readers, and I'm also going to finish up the edits that I need to do before sending my manuscript to my first group. There are just 2 scenes that I still need to edit before the beta round, so I should be able to finish that up this weekend, no problem, as long as I make the time to take a look at the manuscript. At the time you're watching this video, my first group will currently be reading my manuscript. That's exciting. But if any of you out there watching didn't fill out my survey and you are now interested and you want to be in the August group, please reach out to me directly. You never know, there might be people who back out or end up not being able to do it after all, so I'm definitely still open to more people signing up. So some of the things that I'm going to be doing in this vlog: finishing up my edits, drafting the email that I'm going to send to my beta readers, showing you the survey questions that I have for them to answer when they're reading, dividing up the betas into 2 groups. I do also have 1 scene in the manuscript where I think a lot of it is going to be cut out, so I'm not sure exactly how long the manuscript that I send to betas is going to be. Once I am done with my edits and I have an accurate word count, I'm going to decide how many chapters I'm going to send to the betas at a time, because I am going to divide the manuscript into 3 sections to send to them, because I don't want to give somebody my full manuscript when I don't know if they're actually going to give feedback or not. So you're going to have to give the feedback on section 1 to get section 2, etc. So I'll have a better idea of how I'm going to divide it up once I know what the word count is going to be exactly. So that's about it, and I will talk to you all soon. Hello, so I am about to film my wrap-up video for the month of June. Finally, we're halfway through July. But first, I wanted to show you all one of the surveys that I've created for my beta readers, just so you know some of the questions that I ask. I believe I got some of these questions from author Brittany Wang's YouTube series on beta readers, but some of them are also questions that I came up with myself. Like, for instance, since I write murder mysteries, in each survey, well, the part 1 and part 2 surveys, I ask, at this point, who do you think did it, and explain why you think so. And then in part 3, which they'll complete after the reveal, I always ask, okay, did you predict who did it? If you did, was the book still satisfying for you? Because obviously, I think it's a delicate balance. Like, I think if not a single person who read your book guessed who done it, then you maybe didn't have enough clues, but you also don't want it to be obvious for people either. I know personally, since I write murder mysteries and I read a lot of them, it is very hard to surprise me. I can usually guess who done it, but there is a difference in my mind between the reveal being extremely obvious versus, okay, I guessed right, but I feel like this was still cleverly plotted and I had to work hard to guess. So that's enough about that. Let's look at the part 1 survey for Project Dagger as an example. Did the first 10 pages hold your interest? Would you keep reading this book if you picked it up randomly in a bookstore? Why or why not? This is really important because obviously literary agents, they get so many submissions, so the beginning of the book is extremely important. If it doesn't immediately pique their interest, they're not going to request to read more because they have hundreds of other manuscripts in their inbox. So this is essential that the book grabs your interest from the jump when you're a debut author. Then I think this is one of the questions that I got from Brittany Wang. Did you get oriented fairly quickly at the beginning as to whose story it was and where and when it was taking place? If not, why not? And I think the reason this is a question is just because you want, again, the beginning is very important when you're trying to get an agent. And so you want to know, okay, is this story starting in the right place? Is it the best introduction to what's to come? Then I ask, what were your opinions of our main characters? Did you find them likable and or believable? Obviously, characters are extremely important to a book, and so I want to ensure that my characters are interesting, believable, and that they are characters that people would want to follow for more than 300 pages. I ask, what is your favorite and least favorite moment or scene in the chapters you read? That helps me know what scenes or moments are really working and which ones could be improved or cut altogether. Are there any parts where you felt confused, bored, or frustrated? Because obviously, this is important to know, because if people are putting down your book, that's something you need to fix. And I ask, who is their favorite character in the section they read, and is there anyone that they think could be improved? Because again, characters are really important. That's where I ask who they think the murderer is. Then I ask them to rate what they read on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being didn't like it at all, 5 being I loved it. And I also ask them to rate how excited they are for the next chapters that are to come. I also just give this space at the bottom, so if there's anything else people want to share that they feel like they didn't answer above, they can add that right here. Now, obviously, you don't need to write a 5-paragraph essay for each of these questions, but a good solid paragraph is helpful because I need to know why the beta readers feel the way they do. If they just say, I didn't like so-and-so, well, why didn't you like that character? Like, there needs to be some explanation so that I can figure out what I'm going to do about it. Now, obviously, this is just an example. The questions for the Section 2 and Section 3 surveys are slightly different. To be honest, I'm also thinking that maybe when it's time for Beta Group 2, I might ask them more specific questions, like, I'm just going to make something up. Let's say I have Beta Group 1 read the book, and Beta Group 1, a lot of them tell me that they think the book needs more description. Okay, I'm using this as an example because one thing the betas for my last book told me was that there were times where they were having a hard time visualizing the scene in their mind and they wanted more description. So let's just say hypothetically I get that feedback again. All right, Beta Group 1 says we need more description. Maybe then I might ask Group 2, what did you think about the descriptions? Did you ever have trouble visualizing the scenes in your mind? Please explain. Because then I will be able to assess, all right, did I successfully address the issue that Beta Group 1 raised, you know? So I might give Group 2 more specific questions just to see how successful my edits after round 1 were. So we will see about that and just see what the betas think. I am excited about this book, and so I'm hoping that people are going to really like it. I also wanted to show you guys that playlist that I made of songs that reminded me of the romantic relationship in Project Dagger. So some of you guys suggested songs for the playlist. Thank you. Like I said, I am not a big music girly. I love Taylor Swift, and I don't know that many other artists that well, but some of you guys gave suggestions for songs that fit my vibe, and I listened to a lot of the Spotify curated playlists to discover some songs that I didn't know before. For instance, Spotify made me a playlist that they called Romantic Yearning Mix. Spotify knows me so well. How does Spotify know that I love romantic yearning? Hello. So yesterday I finished editing all the scenes that I wanted to edit, and I added 2,989 new words to the manuscript overall, though the manuscript did not actually go up by that many words because I also edited parts out. There was one scene where honestly I pretty much deleted the entire thing and just condensed that part. So while I wrote that many new words, the manuscript is still currently only, let me see, 89,158 words. So it really only went up by about 200 or 300 total, since I also did a lot of editing. I might reread some parts of the manuscript myself before I send it out to the betas next week, but right now my next concern is going to be breaking it up into the 3 sections for the beta readers. When I'm creating these sections, I want to think about 2 things. One, I want to make sure they're fairly even because, for instance, it wouldn't really make sense to make them read 200 pages for one section and 50 pages for another section. But I also want to make sure that I'm breaking it up in places that make sense. So I'm going to take a look and then I'm going to create 3 Google documents, one for section 1, one for section 2, and one for section 3. That way they will be ready to go to the betas. Hello again. It is later that same day, and I just wanted to update you to say that I've had 18 people fill out my beta reader application, which is awesome. I'm going to have 9 people in each group, and I think I've decided who I want to have in each group. 3 people asked to be in group 1, 3 people asked to be in group 2, and everybody else said they didn't care. So I had a lot of freedom in creating the groups. And really, I just wanted to have a good mix in each group. Like, for instance, I think 5 of the people who signed up to beta read said that they were male. And so obviously I don't want to put all the men in the same group. So I put 3 men in one group and 2 men in another group, just so the demographics are kind of broken up a little bit. And I also took a look at people's experience, like, okay, who said they had beta read before and who said they hadn't? Who said they usually read this genre of book and who said they don't? Just so we're having diversity in the groups and not like putting all of the similar people together, if that makes sense. So once I figure out how the sections are going to be broken up, I'm going to send the people in group 1 an email this week because we are 1 week away from the beta start date. And I'm going to ask them to please follow up with me to let me know if they still want to beta read. So the last time I got beta readers, probably about 50% of the people who filled out the survey ended up not being able to beta read for me. So my hope is by having 9 people in each group, I will have at least 5 in each group or 10 total, because I think that would be a good sample size. Anything less than 5, I think makes it a little hard to interpret the feedback, because if it's a very small group, you don't know if this is a consensus or just 1 or 2 opinions. So I'm hoping that a majority of the people who filled it out will still be able to do it. And then I will have 2 nice groups that I can look at. I just finished getting the Google Docs ready for the 3 sections. It did take quite some time because the indentations got all messed up when I copied and pasted. So I had to individually go and re-indent a bunch of the paragraphs. My apologies if any of you are beta readers for me and you see mistakes with the indentations. I tried my best. It took a lot of time, but I may have missed one. So I am now ready to get the email for the beta readers. I meant to send it already, but c'est la vie, I'm gonna send it now. And I have 9 people in each group. I do want to show you one thing in Google Docs because there were some questions about how you can hide other people's comments as a beta reader so that it doesn't impact your response while you're reading. And there is a way to hide comments in Google Docs that I found. So there is this help feature right here. And so if there's something that you want to look for, you can just search the menus. And if you type hide comments, that will pop up. And if you have a MacBook, you can use this keyboard shortcut. And then it will say comments hidden. Oh, you can't see the pop-up because of how I have my screen cropped, but it does tell you that you can hide the comments that way. And I think you will have to then turn the comments back on if you want to leave some yourself, but it is possible to hide them while you're reading. So the next thing to do is get this email together, just welcoming the first group of beta readers, and then I'm going to send that out to them. I do ask my beta readers to respond to the email to confirm that they're still interested. So if there's a lot of people who don't respond, I might ask people from group 2 if they want to be in group 1 instead, but we'll see how it goes. I got this many beta readers just a safety net since a lot of people dropped out last time, and watch now like every single person do it, and I'm gonna have 18 opinions. Watch that happen to me. All right, I think I am about ready to send this beta reader email. What I said in the email was basically, please reach out to me to let me know if you're still interested in being a beta. The timeline, so I told them how long the novel is. It is 89,000 words and approximately 337 pages in Google Docs or Microsoft Word. I gave them a breakdown of each section, how many chapters are in each section, and what day the surveys will be due. I also explained to them, each section will have a survey of approximately 10 questions at the end. If you ever need more time, please reach out to me, because if you don't complete the survey by the date and you don't ask for an extension, I will assume you're no longer interested and I will not send you the next section. I explained how the Google Doc is going to work. I told them how they can hide comments if they want. And I also specified that they only have to use the comment feature to the extent that it is helpful to them. And I just stressed, the only thing that's really important is that when you're giving feedback, please explain why you felt the way you did, because that is really what matters. I also included the copyright disclaimer. And this was something that I believe author Brittany Wang in her beta readers videos said that she did, because a lot of authors, especially beginner authors, worry that if they send to beta readers, people are going to steal their story. Now, really, this fear is kind of unfounded, but she did say if you specify, like, hey, just so you know, my work is copyrighted, you're maybe covering your ass there a little bit. And also, that's the reason that I send my book in 3 sections. Because let's just say hypothetically someone did want to steal my book and make money off of it, which they probably wouldn't, because that's not the most effective get-rich-quick scheme. But let's just assume somebody did. In order to get the whole manuscript, they would have to put a lot of work in, because I'm only sending 1 section at a time. And if somebody wanted to steal my book, they'd have to fill out 3 different surveys to get the whole thing, So I think if somebody's goal was to steal, they would probably be deterred by that, because they would have to put in a lot of work. Granted, I'm not really worried about people stealing my work. If you wanted to just make money, this would not be the most effective strategy, but it is a bit of a safety net. So I think that is about it. We had exactly 18 people express interest, so that means there's going to be 9 people in each group. I'm going to send this email out to the 9 people that I selected for group 1, and hopefully most, if not all of them, are still interested. Hello. This morning I sent out the first section to my beta readers, and I am excited, terrified. I hope they like it and that they don't tell me that I suck at writing and to never do it again. But no, in all seriousness, it is an exciting thing, but also a scary thing, because obviously there is going to be criticism, and that's okay. If they told me that the book was perfect and I shouldn't change anything, that would make me suspicious because obviously every story can be improved in some way. But it is still a little bit scary to open yourself up to feedback and not know what people are going to say. Ultimately, I had 7 people tell me they were still interested in beta reading, but I did send the first section to everyone anyway, because I'm just a nice person like that. But obviously, you know, if these people didn't respond to my initial email and they don't read section 1, then they're not going to get any more and I'm just going to write them off. But I wanted to give them the chance to read it just in case they didn't see the email or didn't realize they were supposed to respond or something like that. I did end up posting that video on how to give good beta reader feedback. So if you signed up to be one of my beta readers and you want some further guidance on the process and how you can make the most out of it for both of us, do check that out for some of my tips. I'm also thinking about in the future making a video on how to receive and implement constructive criticism as a writer. So if that's something that you think would be helpful, do let me know. With all that being said, I think that is it for this vlog. If you enjoyed it, please do give it a big thumbs up. That really does help me and my channel. It lets both me and YouTube know that you're enjoying this content and you want to see more like it. If you're still here watching, why don't you comment down below your experience with beta reading? And if you want to show your support but you don't know what to comment, then why don't you comment the sun emoji down below? My social media links are in the description if you want to follow me on Tumblr, Instagram, or be my friend on Goodreads. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have an extraordinary rest of your day. Bye, and I'll see you next time.